Hello, students. So today we are going to start with a new topic of sociology, that is kinship, meaning, types, principles of kinship, and its importance. So let's understand what is the meaning of kinship. The system of kinship, that is the way in which relations between individual and groups are organized, occupies a central place in all human societies. Kinship means relationship, or kinship kin means relative, and the relationship. So we can say that man does not live alone in society from birth till death. He is surrounded by a number of people. Some of these people are his relatives, some are friends, some are neighbors, while all others are stranger and unknown to him. He is bound to all those people who are related to him, either on the basis of blood or marriage. The relation based on blood or marriage may be close or distant. The bond of blood or marriage which bind people together in group is called kinship. According to the Dictionary of Anthropology, kinship system includes socially recognized relationship based on supposed as well as actual genealogical ties. These relationships are the result of social interaction and recognized by society. So we can say that kinship provide the framework of a social relationship. Kinship means relationship of the individual with the other members due to either to the bond of a marriage or through blood. Kinship bonds are very strong. Kinship being with nuclear family, kinship, the kins found in this group are husband, wife, son, daughter, brother, and sister. Kinship is that part of culture which deals with notions of or ideas about the relatedness or the relationship through birth and through marriage. A kinship system is not a group like family, nor it is a set of institutionalized rule like marriage. So we have already understood what kinship means. So according to the Radcliffe Brown in 1964 insisted on the study of kinship as a field of right and obligations and saw it as a part of the social structure. Evans Pritchard studied the rule of the Southern Sudan in 1951 and focused on kinship groups, particularly group based on the descent, the male line from known ancestor. So kinship is one of the main organizing principle of the society. It is one of the basic social institutions found in every society. This institution establishes relation between the individuals and the group. People in all societies are bound together by various kinds of bond. The most basic bonds are those based on the marriage and reproduction. Kinship refer to these bonds and all other relationships resulting from them. Thus, the institution of kinship refer to a set of relationships and relatives formed thereof based on blood relationship that is consanguineal or marriage that is known as affinal. So, according to the Anthony Giddens in 1997, ties a connection between the individuals established either through marriage or the line of the descent that connect blood relatives, mother, father, offspring, grandparents, etc. Kinship is culturally learned and is not totally determined by the biological or the marital ties. For example, adoption creates a kinship tie which is legally acknowledged and socially accepted. Kinship is simply the relations between the kin means relative, that is, person related by real, putative, or the fictive consanguinity. So, according to Murdoch, let's see a few more definitions. According to Murdoch, it is a structured system of relationship in which individuals are bound to one another by complex, interlocking, and ramifying ties. According to Radcliffe Brown, he says kinship system is a part of social and insists upon the study of kinship as field of right and obligations. So now we can say, after the definitions, that the social relationship driving from blood ties, that is real and supposed, and marriage are collectively referred to as kinship. Two types of kinship bonds are universally recognized according to the G. Duncan Mitchell. He said that when we use term kinship, we are referring to people who are related by the consanguinity, that means on the basis of the blood relation, and the affinity, that means after marriage. Hence, there are two type of kinship: consanguinal kin group, and the other is the affinal kin group. Let's study about it. Consanguinal kinship. This kinship is based on blood or birth. The relationship between parents and children, as well as siblings, says the sociology group. This is the most basic and universal type of kinship, also known as primary kinship. It involves people who are directly related. Or we can say that the consanguinity is a relationship based on supposedly common blood relationship. A consanguine is a relative who was born in the family as well as one who was adopted in the family concerned. The bond of the blood is called consanguineous kinship. So the people who are related on the consanguineous kinship, that means on the basis of the blood bond, these relatives are called the consanguineal kinship. The relative linked by blood or common ancestry or sibling are known as consanguineal kin. For example, father, mother, son, daughter, brother, sister, father's brother, father's brother, son, grandchildren, uh, great grandchildren, and so on. The consanguineal kinship form a common ancestry and a common descent. Blood is not the only determinant factor, but more significant role is of the social recognition of such relation, such kinds. For example, the adopted child is also recognized as a real son. He shares adopted father's surname and join the descent. So when the child is adopted, he is going to use the father's surname and he will be belonging to the father descent. So he is going to share and adopt the father's surname and joins the descent. Now, the next, affinal kinship. This type of kinship is based on marriage. The relative, or we can say that the relative linked by the marital bond are known as affinal kin. For example, husband and wife, wife's mother, daughter, daughter's husband, parent-in-law, son-in-law, all are affinities. After marriage, a person becomes not only a husband but also become brother-in-law and son-in-law, etc. Similarly, a girl on marriage become not only wife but also become daughter-in-law, also become chachi, bhabi, divrani, etc. Let's talk about uh, the principles of kinship, or we can understand the consanguineal and the affinal kinship. The Let's discuss more about the affinal kinship. The bond of marriage is called the affinal kinship. When a person marries, he establishes relationship not only with the girl whom he marries, but also with a number of other people in the girl's family. Moreover, it is not only the person marrying who get bound to the family members of the girl, but his family members also get bound to the family members of the girl. Thus, a host of relations are created as soon as marriage takes place. For example, after marriage, a person becomes not only husband but also become brother-in-law, son-in-law. Here it may be noted that in English language, a number of relations created by marriage are referred by the same term. Thus, the same term brother-in-law is used for the Behnoi, Sala, Jija, and Sadhu. On marriage, a person also become Fufaji, Nandoi, and Mosaji. Likewise, girl on marriage not only becomes wife but also become daughter-in-law. She also becomes Chachi, Bhabi, Devani, Jitani, Mami, etc. Thus, Marriage creates a host of relationships which are called affinal kin. So let's discuss and make the things more easier of the consanguineous kinship. The bond of the blood is called the consanguineous kinship. The consanguineous kin are related through blood, whereas the affinal kin are related through marriage. The bond between the parents and their children and that between the siblings is the consanguineous kinship. Siblings are the children of the same parents. Thus, brother, sister, uncle. Uncle means chacha, elder uncle, tau, nephew, and cousin are the consanguineous kin. That is related through blood. In this connection, it may be pointed out that the blood relation may be actual as well as supposed. An adopted child is treated as if it were one's own biological produced child. Thus, the blood relationship may be established not only on the biological basis but also on the basis of social recognition. So I hope now the types of kinship is very much clear to you all. Let's move towards the principle of kinship. Four basic principles outlined by the Robin Fox and regarding the kinship are as follows. The women have children, the men impregnate the women, the men usually exercise control, that means the decision making power of in the family will be of men, and the primary kin do not mate with each other. That means he is talking about the incest taboo. That means the sexual relation cannot be established between the primary kin, and the women have children, and the men and the women is going to be impregnated by the men only. So these are the four we can say that the principle of kinship given by Robin Fox. Let's talk about the importance of kinship. So, after discussing about the kinship meaning and the types and the principle of kinship, it's very like important for us to understand what is the importance of kinship. The kinship system maintain unity, harmony, and cooperation among relationship. Kinship set guideline for communication and interaction among people where the marital taboo exists decides who can marry whom. Kinship regulate the behavior of different kins, as well as kinship act as a watchdog of social life. In the rural areas or in the tribal society, kinship defines the right and the obligations of the family and marriage, also the system of production and the political power. It helps people to better understand their relationship with each other. It build and develop it build and develop and help better relate to one another in the society. Kinship serves to important and related purpose. It provides a way of transmitting status and property from one generation to the next. And second, in some societies, it serves to establish and maintain effective social groups. Kins help in economic tasks or the other activities which required cooperation from others. When social functions like marriage, ceremonies, religious activities take place in the family, the kins are necessarily invited and their attendance is most expected. It is also obligatory on the kins to render services as and when required the event of crisis also people depend on their kins for their aid and help. Though the kinship system help maintain solidarity or we can say the unity in the family, there arise tensions and the conflict among the kins due to the discriminatory rights in the in the propertied class. And we can also discuss the kinship that kinship provide a framework of social relationship, and kinship means relationship of the individual with the other member due to either a bond of marriage or through blood. As we know that the human being, as we know that no person can live in isolation, and he need relations and relations to share and as well as to lean on when the things are not going well in his life. So man does not live alone in society from birth till death. He is surrounded by a number of people, and some of these people are his relative, and with whom he is having a very close connection, and they are called the kin. in these people, the some can be friends, some can be neighbors, and other can be relatives, and this relation is tied on the basis of on the kinship relation is tied on the basis of the blood relationship, as well as on the affinal ground, that means after marriage. Thank you.